Hi friends, I'm Jason Teed, owner of JMT Choreography. I'm so glad you guys are watching the series I've called Warrior Woman. Alright, let me break it down. So I've traveled the world in my professional and my personal life, and there's been one common thing throughout the whole thing. I have met and traveled with the most amazing, life-changing women. I even realized that every gym I do choreography for is owned by a female. So in this series, I sit down with warrior women and I ask them questions about life, cheerleading, and empowerment, and so much more. I hope you guys enjoy, but make sure you guys subscribe. I'll wait. Subscribe. Enjoy the interview. This warrior woman is the founder of the hugely successful Cheerforce 10 UK program, which has world's teams across cheer and dance. She's the program director, head coach, and head choreographer of Cheerforce 10, including the Ladies of 10 International Open Pom. She provides workshops and judges all over the UK for cheerleading and dance. She has been recognized by the BBC for Midlands Coach of the Year. She also was the founder of the first unified Team England Pom team. She ran for 3 seasons and led them to an 8th place at the Worlds in 2018. Please welcome my friend, the amazing Rachel. Okay, all right. So first question, how are you doing given our current circumstances? Because I know you guys are a little bit time difference than we are right now with when you guys are getting released, but how are you doing?
So not too bad considering, actually. I think we're on week 4 of like total lockdown in the UK.
Okay.
So we've just heard from the Prime Minister today that we're going to have at least another 2 weeks. And then obviously for us, that means all of our gyms are closed, all the large gatherings can't happen. We're not allowed out of our house unless it's just to the shops. We can have one set of exercise a day, which is quite nice, but pretty much it's just stuck inside. But to be honest, I think the first week I was feeling really anxious because I was trying to do the usual what us cheer coaches do, and everyone really in this industry is trying to control the situation.
Right.
And you cannot control or even guess what's going to come next. So now that's kind of settled in, and I think I'm not too bad. I'm seeing my kids as much as I can, on things like Zoom and that kind of stuff. So just learn to take each day, really. And we're safe and well. So that's, you've got to count your blessings, haven't you?
Yes. I mean, I would have to agree. The first day I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. The second week I was like, ooh, what's this thing called TikTok? This is fun.
Oh.
And then by the third week I was like, I'm over it. I'm ready to go back and see my kids and have a choreography season. I don't even know what's happening coming forward, but we gotta
it's the
stay
not
safe.
knowing though, isn't it? Sometimes that's
right.
half the journey. So everything will be okay.
Right, it will be. Okay, how do you think All-Star Cheerleading and other women-run businesses empower female youth?
So this is such a good question, because I think cheer in itself is just such a wonderful sport that basically encapsulates passion and goal setting, working hard to achieve your dreams. So that in itself is empowering women. So just for these kids, so these young girls to see other women in leadership roles is also showing them that you can do what you want. If you work hard, you can get where you want to be and you can achieve great things. So I think that in itself, cheerleading is empowering women. And in my gym, a lot of my coaches are women. And so these kids are seeing people in authority that are women. And that has a massive impact, doesn't it? It does. So I think in itself, that's probably...
It's a leading by example. That's what it is.
It is.
It's showing them by example of like what you can become. And that's the reason why I'm doing these videos too, is like we need to show how positive this industry is and how great it is. Which is
why I wanted to get involved in it, Jace. I think hearing what you were doing is something that I was really excited to be involved in, because I think we do need to celebrate each other. And another reason why I feel that cheer is so important in empowering women is because it embraces women being competitive. And I think that's a great thing. let's be inspired by each other, and let's embrace and praise those women that are just killing it, because good for them. And let's be inspired by them. Let's want to reach up to achieve what they're doing. That's what makes us grow as individuals. And if we're passing that kind of level and way of thinking to our kids, then that itself is just bringing women into being more equals across everything, really.
Pushing each other to reach a higher goal is wonderful. Okay, explain what you do in your personal and professional life to make sure you're leading by example and making an impact.
Wow. Okay, so
big questions, I know. They're heavy.
Then this is another great question. So what am I doing to make sure that I'm leading by example? Okay, so I've just had a baby. So Xander's 10 months old, and every now and again you're going to hear him in the background. He's just with my husband at the moment. So I guess one of the things that I wanted to make sure that I was doing to lead by example with my academy is to still understand what the kids are going through when they compete. So I've only just stopped competing this season. I was keen to show the kids that, okay, I am not the best dancer at all, but I will go onto the floor with you and I will do my best. And I'm a firm believer in, let's not worry what other people are doing. If you're doing your best and you're directly comparing yourself against your last performance, then you're always going to grow. So that's something that I feel that I do by leading by example, is I'm showing my kids that I'm not the best dancer that there is, but I will go on, I will give you my all, and I will do it for you guys, my team. So to do that after I just had Xander was a massive, the first time I got onto that floor and knowing some of the judges as well, because I sometimes judge alongside them, was really challenging. But I think them seeing that I was a bit anxious and that I was kind of being taken out of my comfort zone kind of showed them that they can do that. And if Rachel's doing it, then then she understands when we're feeling nervous. So I think that's one way. I like to think of myself as like a yes person, really. So like with this interview, when you mention it to me, then my first instinct is always going to try and strive to be yes, I'm going to do that, because it's a challenge and it's something, it does make you feel slightly out of your comfort zone at first, but then like everything, when you get into it, it's fine and you're growing as a person. And if we're teaching our kids that, then that's only going to be a good thing, isn't it?
Yes, I totally agree with that. Like, I had no idea starting this project. Like I said, I have suitcases with books signed up, and I've never done any of this before, but I was like, this is something that I've always wanted to do, and I was going to do it this summer, and I was like, why not do it right now? Let's do it. And then everyone just keeps saying yes, and I was like, this is meant to be. This is meant to happen. So it's...
Definitely. I'm a firm believer in that. And there's no time like the present. You are currently balanced on top of the Lord of the Rings, and it's a big book, and you're right at the top, so if you fall over, that's where you are right now, Jace.
Okay. What is one piece of information you wish all girls and young women knew that they don't know now?
Okay, so for me, it's to stop comparing yourself directly to somebody else, because you are on a different journey to the next person, and to compare your path with theirs when they had a different starting place and they're headed to a different destination, they're on a different fork in their road. Stop comparing yourself, because we spend so much time worrying about being as good as, or just stop and think, am I being a better person than I was yesterday? Am I making the right decisions today? Am I pushing myself to be the best person I am? Then yes, let's do that. Let's be inspired by the people. Let's not directly compare ourselves, because that is suffocating, and it's only going to dampen your dreams. You need to inspire each other, but not directly compare, because that's negative. We need much more positivity today.
Yes, and I totally agree with that. I mean, I feel like me personally, I've been through that. I mean, many people have been through that. You always want to be like, oh, I wish I had those pants, or I wish I looked like this. It's like, that's not your path. This is my path, and this is my moment.
Exactly.
That's your path, and that's your moment. So live your life to the fullest, basically.
Exactly. There's like a sort of some kind of post going around on Facebook I've noticed at the moment, which I think the title is something like not in the same boat. I don't know if you've seen it. Because obviously at the moment everyone's saying, oh, yeah, we get it. You might feel a bit anxious at home, or you might feel a bit uneasy, but we're all in the same boat.
Mm-hmm.
And it's basically pulling that apart, and it's talking about how we're not actually in the same boat. We might be on the same ocean, but we're not on the same boat. What's going on in your boat might be different to what's going on in mine.
Okay.
So it's so interesting, and it really did make me think, okay, so yes, it's the same situation, but my boat's different to your boat, so let's not compare each other. And it's the same with this situation, isn't it? Some people may well be coping to in a certain way, and others might be really struggling, but we all need to help each other and not judge and not compare.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I love that analogy because in my head I was like, oh yeah, we're all in the same boat. I've said that a few times.
Yeah,
like,
immediately
and
you
then
think that, don't you?
right, and then you said ocean. I was like, oh yeah, because like, I mean, there's so many different types of people. There's so many. I mean, everyone's being affected of this, yes, but like, what many people are better off than other people in this situation, and it's like everyone
Yeah.
needs to allow to have their own moments for the situation.
Definitely.
Okay, what advice would you give to integrate women empowerment into your business? I know that you led by example for your gym. Is there any other thing that you could think of to integrate it into their business to make sure that they are doing it every single day?
I just think them if they're just making sure that they are providing a culture for women to be equal and to be themselves and to bring their strengths to whatever job role or position that they're doing. And then women as well, when we're in these positions, if we don't expect to be treated differently, I think in a large part, I think that as individuals, we can be as responsible as well. If we don't choose to be treated differently, and if we feel confident to be able to express ourselves, and in these places of work that we're able to feel comfortable doing that, just be made to feel equal, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Again, that's the reason why I'm doing this. Is some people don't realize that it's a thing, and it is a thing, but we need to make sure that we're going by it the correct way. And when I say we, it's not me, and that's the reason why I'm interviewing all these amazing women, because I'm learning through this situation also. So, okay, I really like this next question. How can we go about changing the stigma associated with cheerleading?
Oh, I like this question too. So we need to continue to take ourselves seriously. We need to uphold the professionalism that we want to be seen as. And that goes from our personal lives, it goes with the lives that we show on our social media platforms. If we're in a place of authority in cheer, or, we have that responsibility that we should be being shown to be taken seriously. I think unfortunately, and again, the current situation, we want to be treated as a sport and in the same way as everyone else, but yet when the whole news of cancellations of worlds and all these competitions, for some, you've got the Olympics being postponed and cancelled, you've got like all these different football and baseball events, everything, and then cheerleading is still not having a final decision. Why are we different? We are a sport. We need to take ourselves seriously and not expect any special treatment if we want to be looked on the same as everyone else. And that's what I feel really, really passionately about. I think as soon as we heard that the schools were going to close, we were going to close the gym. And I think it's the rumblings that you hear, isn't it, that others might think, oh, well, we've got a competition to get ready for. But yes, so is every other sport. But
Right.
we're no different. And because of that, we're strong.
That is a really good example, though, because we closed as soon as schools closed here. We closed our gym. Luckily enough that we only had one competition left. That was the next week, so that was the easy wash for us. But I mean, a lot of people are going to Summit. A lot of people are going to Worlds. I mean, you guys were just beginning your comp season, and yeah, it needed to be. I mean, if the NBA March Madness was canceled, I think that we should be following suit with all other sports, definitely.
Definitely.
I don't want to move on from this question because I want to go more to like the stigma of, I guess I would say like our look is, I would say the strongest thing as I'm trying to get away with this question is the look or the way that
Yeah.
we act or more that situation. Do you have any advice on that?
Yeah, so and I guess it's talking from the dance, because obviously we've got we're lucky to have a successful program in cheerleading and dance. And I think sometimes the dance and the pom side of cheer as well can be seen and have a certain stigma around it, and there's a certain image that goes with that. I know when I first heard about cheerleading, because obviously it's so young here in the UK still compared to in America, I had no idea about what it was. All I had in my head was a stereotypical image of girls with pom-poms, not wearing so much really, on the sidelines. And there's no disrespect for sideline cheer, because that is an amazing sport in itself, but all I had in my head was this image, and of women cheering on men. And that, I think, is so that's hard to escape from, especially with the films coming out, and with the cheerleader's always the one, when you get the horror films and things, and there's always this cheerleader in there, and she always comes across to be ditzy and all this, and you think, the media is not helping. But then we have to have some level of responsibility, because unfortunately, if we're honest, we probably do know of people that may play on that image a little bit too much. And I just think people need to stop if they are passionate about our sport, and just be true to themselves, to not expect people to take us seriously if we don't take our own image seriously. But yeah, I think that the way, the look of it is difficult. But then in the same way, trying to compare it to how we like to dress up for competitions, we love our glitter, we love our makeup, we love that, but that's because it's a show that we're putting that on. That's a production. That's, as a dancer would be, we get dressed up to perform, to be our best, to show our best. So I think there's a fine line, and I think we need someone at the head of it just to make sure that, we are upholding the right image, and that is what's going out publicly. This is what cheerleading is, and there's no murky in between.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I think because I think we all definitely know what to do, but I think that we all need to do it together, because if we are a collective whole, showing the world like how amazing our sport is and how athletic these athletes are, then it will come across stronger.
Thing, isn't it? They're athletes, and it's a respect, isn't it? And in the UK as well, for me, our gym is in a place where, I would say 8 out of 10 people have no idea what the sport is at all where we are. So for me to get in touch with the newspapers and say, oh, hey, we've got all this amazing good news about a competition that we just attended, and our athletes achieved this, this, and this. So you can see sometimes, depending on the reporter that you speak to, athletes and cheerleading, and then it's hard, isn't it? Because then you've got some other media representations of cheerleaders that aren't showing them as athletes. So you can't really blame these people for thinking that. We've just got to be so strong in our image and so confident in what we believe that it just overrides everything, and this is what it is now. And maybe in the past things are looked at in that way. It's like any sport, isn't it? There's always a stereotypical image that people have. It's just the way that we are wired as humans. That's what it is. I think if we just continue to do as we are now, and like you say, be strong with each other in how we portray ourselves, then it's only going to get even more professional. And I know that when the Netflix documentary came out, my kids in England, they were being stopped on the bus on the way to school because they had like an infinity bag. And obviously in England, nobody would know what that is. But these people were saying, oh, she's got an infinity bag. I've just watched Navarro cheer. Wow. They know what they were. And they were going up and saying, oh my gosh, you're a cheerleader. That's amazing. And these kids have felt such a sense of pride for being involved in the sport. And it was just heartwarming to hear it. So I just hope long may that continue. And if we can just, all of us, get together with promoting that image, then wow.
Yeah, and the Netflix documentary did a great job on representing the cheerleading world.
It really did.
It really did. I was very proud of it. You've already answered most of this question, but if there's anything else you want to answer, why do you love the world of cheerleading?
I just think with I never actually used to love sport in any way, Jace. I
Really?
used to be the kid. Yeah, I honestly. So at school, I would be the kid that had the fake letter from my parents because I'd written it saying, I need to excuse Rachel from swimming today. I need to excuse Rachel from tennis today because she's not feeling so well. I was never into sport. So when I got asked to kind of get involved in our local team is just a favour for a friend, it just something's changed in me, and it changed my life. Not just my attitude towards just sport and cheer, not just that, because that's just a small amount, but my attitude to everything. So the way that I believe that you should really work for something, if you want it, you've got to try and work hard for things that you believe in. Just goal setting, breaks up my year. I can't imagine a passing of time without having a certain thing that I need to get to that competition that time. We need to prepare for this choreography on this time. It builds you as a person, and instilling that into the kids of today is, I've seen it change the kids that come into my gym. Our sport is just wonderful. It builds you as an individual. It teaches you to respect. It teaches you to dream. It teaches you to believe in yourself. It teaches you to believe in other people and to trust. It things that you just don't get. That's why I love cheer, because it changed my outlook on everything. And if the kids that come into my gym, if I can just bring that small amount back to them and to kind of share my passion in this wonderful sport with them, then I'm kind of giving back everything that I've had from it as well.
It's a give and take. I mean, everyone I've talked to, once you get into this world, it overcompasses you, and you love every moment of it, and you want to just teach everyone, just like, be who you want to be as strong as you want to be, work hard for it, and then work together. Like, teaching someone to work as hard as they can for themselves and realizing that you can do it with your friends too is a huge thing, I think, also, when it comes to the cheerleading world.
Yeah, definitely. I think, like, just hitting the nail on the head there, the fact that you're teaching these kids to believe in themselves, and then also to encourage their teammates that are then their closest friends and then family, is something that you don't get in a lot of sports, which I think is probably why it's such a fast-growing sport that it is now. I think that it is touching the lives of so many people, and not just that, bringing their families in too. So we have, we always call our program like a family, like a lot of programs I know, like it's the Cheerforce family. And when the parents come to competitions and the grandparents come along and the aunties and uncles, and everyone knows each other, and they're all cheering for other people's kids and supporting other programs as well, because they respect and understand how hard they've worked to put on the show that they've just done and the routine that they've just performed. So it's just bringing together a celebration of opportunities and hard work, isn't it?
It is, and that's why we love it.
Yeah.
Okay, what advice for all the cheerleaders out there during this difficult time? I know that a lot of people are doing a lot of Zoom classes. I know that the USASF has put out videos for us to train. What other advice do you have for them, either physical or mental, at this point?
So the advice that I've been giving to our kids and to our coaches is to take this time, because this is unprecedented. We're not, well, fingers crossed, going to get another time like this. So enjoy the time that you can with your families and also with yourself, and just to take, a little bit longer just to think things through, and to focus on yourself mentally and physically, to reassess your goals and where you want to be this time next year, to spend the time that you often don't get in yourself. A lot of us have been seeing, like you say, the videos for USASF and everything really, and the wonderful videos that a lot of gyms and coaches have been sharing across social media. And our kids are getting more flexible. They're taking a pride in their own development, which can easily get forgotten about when you're in mid-comp season, when you've got that routine to finish and it's go, 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 go. And now we're on pause. We've not stopped. We're on pause. So in that moment of calm, it's a choice, isn't it? We can panic and think, oh, what are we going to do? I'm going to get back to the gym and I'm not going to do this skill. I'm not going to be able to do my back handspring when I get back in the gym. I'm going to have this mental block. Or we can just accept it and just know that everybody's in the same ocean right now, and that if we support each other, then everything's going to be just fine. Just take it as it is. You cannot change it. You cannot control it, but you can decide how it affects you as a person. And if you can see that someone else is struggling, reach out to them, and to build your teamwork as much as you can throughout this time is just as important.
That's some good stuff. I totally agree with the self-growth too. I mean, you got to take ownership. We only can do so much, and it's your time to step up and show us what you got, basically.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so last one. What are you most excited for next season? I know it's the unknown, so we're just speculating. No, that's the wrong word. Speculating. Oh, I'm definitely leaving that in the video. Okay.
So what am I most excited for coming up next season?
Yes.
Wow. So I think it's hard to just give like one answer. I think the thing that I'm most excited for is to not take it for granted, to not take for granted everything that we've had the opportunities that we've had before this non-normality started. I was judging a competition on the weekend before the lockdowns all started.
Okay.
And it was the most surreal experience I think I've ever had. I was sat on the judging table and waiting between some of the routines because some had not been able to compete, some had decided they didn't want to, some were just unable to make the competition just because of everything obviously happened at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And there was giant gaps in the schedule. And throughout those giant gaps in the schedule, you'd think because there was less people in the arena that it would be quiet, but it wasn't. It was the noisiest, most supportive competition that I've been to for such a long time. And the judges on the table were like sharing experiences and stories and talking more about the things that we'd seen and celebrating everything that we'd just seen on the floor. And people were celebrating and cheering for people even more than they normally would do from different programs and different teams, because they knew and we knew without saying it out loud that this could be the last competition for quite some time. And just to understand that, the sound guys being there, being able to do what they do, the merchandise stores being there, being able to sell all the beautiful things that they do, and the photographers being able to capture the moments that they're not going to be able to capture for goodness knows how long, just to be in that moment and to understand that we are blessed to have this. I realised how much I'd taken it for granted. So I cannot wait next season to be in the moment and to enjoy every single thing. To be there with my kids waiting to go on the floor, and I do suffer from nerves, so the kids always laugh at me for it. I always do, but that's okay. I'm actually quite looking forward to it, and just to be there to see them get their first skill back in the gym. Just the times when you're there until 10 o'clock at night and you're moaning because you just want to get back and have something to eat. I'm going to appreciate the fact that I'm able to be there with my kids. Just blessed that we're allowed to return back to some kind of semblance of normality with the sport that we love. That's really what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, and to just go off at the progression, leading up to the competition, even like taking every single practice just for because I mean, once you get into competition season, obviously we're in practices, everyone knows that, but like you're focused on one thing and one thing only, which is good, but like you're not focused on that practice. You're not present at that practice. And I feel like after all this, everyone's going to be a lot more present in every little thing that they do, as it be sports or in life in general. So I'm very excited for that. All right, is there any email you like to give out that they can reach you at if they have any questions for you?
My email address is cf10believe@hotmail.co.uk. We've got obviously my Cheerful's 10 page on Facebook and Instagram. We've also got our Ladies of 10 Instagram page, which is like a separate one for our International Open Pom team. But yeah, just reach out on an email if you've got any questions, or I'd just love to kind of share any experiences and ideas of anyone really at this time. It's good to be there for each other, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. It is. It is. All right. Thank you so much.
No, thank you. Jason's been lovely.
You guys, wasn't she amazing? I had so much fun working on this project, and I have so many more videos to show you. So you know what I'm going to say. Make sure you guys subscribe to my channel. And make sure you guys follow me on Instagram for all the up-to-date posts. Until next time, bye.